you through exactly how to do your pH lab. This is going to be in 8 different stations. You're going to have about 3 minutes per station, so you are going to have to work kind of quickly. Your lab does have 10 spots on your table, but you're only going to do 8 of them. Now I'm going to walk you through how to do one of these. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of your solutions in your lab, but I'm going to walk through the lab for vinegar. So you're going to get to your first station. You're going to look and see, oh, this one's vinegar. It's written there on the beaker. You see vinegar. The first thing you're going to do is make a prediction. You're right. I think vinegar is an acid, a base, or I think it's neutral. Then we're going to measure which one it is using 3 ways. We're going to use the universal indicator on pH paper. We're going to use bromothymol blue, and we're going to use phenolphthalein. Okay. So what you're going to do is you have your well plate. You're going to take 3 squirts of the vinegar, and you're going to put them in 3 different wells. Really, you can do it with just half a squirt. That's fine. So actually, that'd be preferred, so you're not using as much solution. I'm doing full squirts just to make sure you guys can see the color accurately in the camera, but for you, you just need maybe half a squirt. Okay, in the first, we're going to measure the pH after we've guessed what we think the pH is. In the first one, we're going to use that little well to measure the pH using the pH paper. Now, you have long strips of the pH paper, but I need you to cut them, to rip them into thirds, halves maybe, but preferably thirds because we don't want to waste it. So use your forceps, and you're going to dip it in your solution. And you're going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to compare it to the solutions, to the colors on your bottle. And I'd say that this one's very close to 3.0. That's what you'd write down on your table. It also asks for the color of this, so you'd say 3.0, and it's red. And there you go. Now, pH 3.0 tells us that it's probably acidic. So far, the first thing's telling us that it's acidic. Now grab the bromothymol. The bromothymol blue, you remember, you've got to have your indicator colors memorized. Yellow indicates an acid, green indicates neutral, blue indicates a base. So you're going to take 1 drop, that's all you need. 1 drop of your bromothymol blue, and you're going to put it in the second well. And when I put it in there, it turned yellow. So I write that color down, right? Yellow. And then yellow indicates it's an acid. So far our pH paper has indicated it's an acid. The bromothymol blue has indicated it's an acid. Now let's use the phenolphthalein. Remember, phenolphthalein is clear in an acid or neutral. It's pink if it's in a base. So we are going to put a drop of the phenolphthalein in there for that. And when we put that drop in, we see that it is still clear. So we have 3 different solutions. One, we measured the pH directly using the universal indicator. This one we used bromothymol blue, and this one we used phenolphthalein, and we see that it is clear. All 3 of those tests are indicating that this is in fact an acid. So in the final, were your predictions correct? You would write yes or no, depending on what you thought vinegar should have been, but you'd say it's definitely an acid. Now, a couple warnings. The first is that not all 3 you might not end up with all 3 matching. Maybe your pH paper, especially when you're dealing with solutions pretty close to neutral, you might not get all 3 match. All 3 indicating an acid or all 3 indicating a base. If that happens, you need to decide as a group, what do we think? So maybe the bromothymol blue is pointing toward it being a base, but the phenolphthalein and the pH paper's leaning acidic. If that happens, I just talk together as a group and maybe decide what you think is the most reliable of the 3 and maybe go with your best guess. The other thing I want to tell you is you might end up with bleach as one of your solutions. First of all, if you do end up with bleach, you need to be very careful because bleach is very caustic. It can cause a lot of problems. So be very careful with it. Of course, you're going to be wearing your goggles. But guess what? Bleach bleaches things. So bleach is also going to bleach the pH paper. It's also going to treat phenolphthalein and bromothymol blue very strangely. The color is going to be initially one color and then it's going to go away because it's bleaching it. So what I need you to do, don't count to 5. Immediately drop the pH paper in and immediately get the color, then it's going to start turning white. So once it's white, no, that's not the pH anymore. So take the initial color, you need to do that one really quickly. Same with the bromothymol blue and the phenolphthalein. When you put that in, get the initial color you first see, write that down. So when you're done with this, you're going to take this, rinse it out really well. If you don't have time between the stations, you can add to different wells, but by the end, you really should make sure you've cleaned it out very, very well, rinsed it out as best as you can. One last thing, the instructions does say that you are going to have an unknown. There's not going to be an unknown in this lab, so don't worry about that. So I hope you have some fun looking at the different acids and bases of common household items. And then also remember that you need to have your indicator colors memorized for your test, so make sure that you use this lab to help you memorize phenolphthaleins and bromothymol blues colors. Good, have lots of fun, be safe.